Excuse me. I hope everybody's okay. We're just going to look at an article by Christopher Price. Christopher Price on Bede's Library. Did Josephus refer to Jesus? A thorough review of the Testimonium Flavianum by Christopher Price. It's a very scholarly, in-depth article on Josephus mentioning of Jesus, and there's quite a bit of scholarship there. The article has a number of scholarly references. Paul Barnett, Jesus and the Rise of Early Christianity, Downers Grove, 1999, F.F. Bruce, The New Testament Documents, Downers Grove, 2000, Charles James, Research on the Historical Jesus Today, Jesus and the Pseudeographer, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Nag Hammadi Codices, Josephus, and Archaeology, Princeton Seminary Bulletin, Volume 5, Charlesworth, James H., Jesus Within Judaism, New York, 1988, Cohen, Shane J. D., Josephus in Galilee and Rome, Brill Publications, 1979, Earl Doughty, The Jesus Puzzle, Canadian Humanist Publications, 1990, Robert Eisler, The Messiah, Jesus and the John the Baptist, Alexander Haggerty, Crape, TRNS, Methuen, 1931, Eusebius, The History of the Church, Andrew Louth, translation G.A. Williamson, Penguin, 1990, Feldman, Louise H., The Testimonium Flavianum, The State of the Question, quote, Christological Perspectives, editors Robert F. Berkeley and Sarah Edwards, New York, 1982. Louise H. Feldman, Josephus of Modern Scholarship, New York, 1984. Louise H. Feldman, Josephus, Anchor Bible Dictionary, Volume 3, Doubleday, 1992. Louise H. Feldman, Josephus, Interpretive Methods and Tendencies in Dictionary of New Testament Background, Dover's Grove, 2000. R.T. France, The Evidence of Jesus, Dover's Grove, 1982. Paula Fredrickson, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, Vintage, 2000. Robert Grant, The Apostolic Fathers, Volume 4, London, 1966. Luke J. Johnson, The Real Jesus, Harper, San Francisco, reprint, 1997. Jeffrey Lauder, Josh McDowell's Evidence for Jesus. Peter Kirby, The Testimonium Flavium, The Early Christian Writings.com. Steve Mason, Josephus and the New Testament, Hendrickson Publications, 1992. John P. Meyer, A Marginal Jew, Volume 1, Anchor Bible, 2001. Roger Pierce, Josephus in the Ante-Nicene Fathers, all the citations at Tertullian.org. Price, Christopher, response to Ken Olson on the Testimonium Flavium. E.P. Sanders, The Historical Figure of Jesus, New York, 1993. Graham Stanton, The Gospels and Jesus, Oxford University Press, 1989. Henry St. John Thackeray, Josephus, Volume 4, Loeb Classical Library, Cambridge, 1930. Verst van, Robert Verst van, Jesus Outside in the New Testament, William B. Erdmans, 2000. Giza Vermeers, The Jesus Notice of Josephus Re-Examined, Journal of Jewish Studies, Spring, 1987. Alice Whately, The Testimonium Flavium Controversy from Antiquity to the Present. Edwin M. Yamuchi, Jesus Outside the New Testament, Jesus Under Fire. Editors Michael J. Wilkin and J.P. Moreland, Tondren, 1996. The article that we're looking at is by Christopher Price, 2004, revised in 2009. So that's Did Josephus refer to Jesus? A thorough review of the Testimonium Flavium, Christopher Price, and we just read out his bibliography. This is an excellent article. I've read quite a few articles on the topic. This gives a very good synopsis of the basic arguments on the issue. But before we plunge into Christopher Price's article, and so I would encourage you to type in to Google, did Josephus refer to Jesus? A thorough review of the Testimonium Flavanium, Christopher Price. Go and have a read of the article, and it'll give you a good introduction to the scholarship and debate on the topic. Yeah, so what I want to do here is, in his book, The Resurrection of Jesus, A New Historical Approach, Michael R. Licona writes this about John Mayer, a scholar in this Josephus scholarship. And he writes this about what John Mayer says. John Mayer provides 5 reasons for holding that the present text is authentic in entirety. First, it appears in all of the Greek manuscripts of the Antiquities of the Jews, without any notable variation. Second, the text provides a passing and Blair's reference to James, who is here of little consequence since Josephus is more interested in the illegal behavior of Annas, and Jesus is even less of a subject, only inserted to identify James. Thus it fits well in the context of Annas' removal from the office of high priest. Third, no New Testament of early Christian writers wrote of James in a matter-of-fact way as the brother of Jesus, but rather with the reference we would expect, the brother of the Lord, or the brother of the Saviour. The words, the one called Christ, are neutral and appear to be employed to distinguish Jesus from others in his writings by the same name. Fourth, Josephus' account of James' executions differ significantly in the time and manner that offered by the 2nd century Christian author Josephus and in the 3rd century Clement of Alexandria. If Josephus' account was invented by a Christian, we would expect it to be better reflect the Christian accounts. Fifth, Josephus' account is short, a matter of fact compared to the Christian accounts by Hegesippus and Clement of Alexandria. Herschel Shanks and Ben Witherington add what we may regard as a 6th reason for authenticity. Contrary to what might be expected, the text has no hints of anti-Semitism. The Jews seem, in fact, to have liked James. Neither is the text positive about Christianity or Jesus. In short, this text gives no indication of tampering by Christians, and the large majority of scholars regard the entire passage as authentic words of Jesus. The other occasion where Josephus mentions Jesus is the Antiquities of the Jews, commonly referred to as the Testimonium Flaminium. The literature on this subject is enormous. Leading Josephus scholars Louis Fieldman lists 87 discussions on the authenticity of this passage between 1937 and 98. Scholars hold 3 general positions on this passage. Number 1, the entire text is authentic. Number 2, the entire text is an interpolation. And 3, Josephus mentions Jesus in the text, but it was subsequently doctored by a Christian interpolator. So here, what we've read from page 236 to 238 is basically Licona saying that the first mention of Jesus by Josephus is generally accepted as thoroughly authentic. But just putting this book away, sorry. So the first mention of Jesus, which we're going to read now, is authentic. In Book 20 on Jewish Antiquities, we read this: but the younger Annas, who, as we said, received the high priesthood, was a bold disposition, exceptionally daring. He followed the party of the Sadducees, who were severe in judgment above all the Jews, as we've already known. And therefore Annas was of such a disposition, he thought he had no good opportunity, as Festus was now dead, and Albinus was still on the road. So he assembled a council of judges and brought before it the brother of Jesus, the so-called Christ, whose name was James, together with others, and having accused them as lawbreakers, he delivered over to be stoned. So we looked at Mayer, who gave arguments for that passage, saying that it was authentic and that most scholars think. But the disputed passage that a lot of scholars dispute, and there's a lot of debate, is this passage in Jewish Antiquities 18.33. It says, quote, "Now there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, if it be lawful to call him a man. For he was a doer of wonderful works, a teacher of such men as received the truth with pleasure. He drew over to him both many of the Jews and many of the Gentiles. He was the Christ, and when Pilate, at the suggestion of the principal men among us, had condemned him to the cross, those that loved him at the first did not forsake him, for he appeared to them alive again on the third day, as the divine prophets have foretold these and 10,000 other wonderful things concerning him, and the tribe of Christians so named from him are not extinct at this day. So that's the passage that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be discussing whether it's authentic or not. Sorry about this, the phone's ringing. Sorry about this. Oh, I'll just be a second. Come in. I'll just put. Sorry about this. Come in. I'm coming. I'm doing a video. I know I'm doing a video. Sorry about that, folks. We can recommence. There's a phone call I had to go and answer. So apologise for that interruption. So where did I? Yeah, I read about the interpolation. So we notice that there are three basic views about this text. Number one, this text wasn't a complete interpolation.